Hi, I'm Alex Kidman from Fat Duck Tech. Just with a few top-line thoughts on the Apple iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus and iWatch launch, which has just concluded as I'm recording this. These are very much just top-line thoughts, haven't had hands-on time with the devices. Just kind of shooting the breeze. So, the iPhones. Well, no huge surprises here. An awful lot of information about these had leaked prior to the event anyway, and an awful lot of what was known was confirmed. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Apple kind of glossed over the fact that it's taken them a fair while to get to larger screen sizes, it's taken them a fair while to get to NFC, it's taken them a fair while to get to optical image stabilization for the larger iPhone 6 Plus. But again, these are not bad things, and if they're well implemented, these could be very nice, desirable phones. The iPhone 6 Plus name feels like a bit of a Mac throwback to me, but maybe that's just me. They only announced US pricing at the event. As I'm recording this, Apple Australia hasn't actually said what they'll charge for it down here. But you can expect them to run to $750 to about $1,100, depending on the size and specifications that you ask for. And a quick reminder, of course, the prices that they revealed at the launch were the US prices for contract only. This is always the way it goes, and somebody always pops up with, but they're so much cheaper in the States. Well, no, they're not, because you're signing up to a contract. And it actually took Apple quite a while in the States to even offer them off contract. That's something we've always had in Australia. What then about the Apple Watch? Well, again, this is almost familiar territory. This is Apple coming into an area that's already fairly established with their own take. And for me, I think there are some pluses and some minuses. The design is reasonably eye-catching. It's not a round watch, which a lot of people seem to want, but it seems reasonably nice. And actually the idea of the digital crown, name I hate, dial on the side is not a bad one either, as long as that selection mechanism works. That on-stage demo was a little bit awkward in places, and it'll be interesting to see how actually easy the thing is to use on a day-to-day basis. The one thing that really worried me about the Apple Watch was not so much the asking price, because Apple always plays in premium spaces, but the battery life, because they very deliberately didn't say anything about that at all, apart from saying, hey, it's got inductive charging with a magnet, which is very cool, but inductive charging is done on a lot of smartwatches. And a brief mention of charging it at night. That doesn't fill me with a whole lot of confidence, and we won't find out for several months, given that they've stated that it won't go on sale in the US until early next year, and for other markets presumably quite a bit later. What else did Apple have to talk about? Well, they did push through quite a bit of stuff. They also talked about Apple Pay, which is their payment system, and again, it's in some ways very familiar territory. You've got NFC payment, although it is tied into Touch ID and a new secure element. Again, all fine in principle. We'll have to wait and see in Australia as to when they actually implement it and with which financial carriers they implement it. But nothing bad there, just another option for payment. It strikes me, as it does with every other device that does NFC payments, that my credit card never runs out of battery, but my phone often does, and that's not going to be any different with these new devices. And finally, they've announced that they're giving away U2's new album for free. Now, again, that's very much up to whether or not you like U2 and you like their new material. A free album is no bad thing in my opinion, and I'm not the world's greatest U2 fan.